A ticket to the state semifinals was waiting for the winner. Fort Myers hosting Charlotte. The Tarpons won when the two old rivals played earlier this season, but this is a different Green Wave team now. Fort Myers didn't have Darian Felix in that first matchup. First quarter here, Dawson DeGroot playing quarterback where he barely played at all this season. Good call by Coach Sirianni because that's a beautiful throw to Felix to open the scoring. Then Felix on the direct snap, and he's gone. 71 yards. Fort Myers up 14-0 at the half against the undefeated Tarpons. But a two-touchdown hole is nothing for Charlotte. Third quarter, D. Hicks flush from the pocket, throws against his body, and downfield he's got Devontae Price. Price to the end zone, and it's 14-7. Fourth quarter now, Hicks fumbles a snap. Instead of diving on it, he makes a play, throws it into the night sky. Again, it's Price getting under it. That big gainer led to another Price touchdown to tie it at 14. The game goes to overtime. Both teams get a possession from the 10-yard line. First play of OT, Price navigates his way in. It's 21-14, and now Fort Myers needs a touchdown to tie. On third down, Ben Stovall finds Yesias Young in the back corner of the end zone. We're tied at 21. Time for double overtime. Fort Myers kicks a field goal in the second OT, so the Tarpons have a chance to win. And again on first down, Price wills his way into the end zone. The all-time classic goes to Charlotte. The Tarpons win 27-24. Charlotte will host a state semifinal game against a loaded team from Miami next week.
I can't speechless. I'm just speechless. I had to get in there and do what I had to do. I'd do anything for my team. That's it. That's all.
You know, they found a way to get it done. You know, here we are after all that, regional champions, so I'm proud of them.
Unbelievable. A great season comes to an end for Immokalee. The Indians lose on the road in Tampa to undefeated Jesuit. Well, a good mid-major test for FGCU basketball tonight. Long Beach State in the house. Like the Eagles, the 49ers were picked to win their conference. They're coached by Dan Monson, the guy who turned the Gonzaga program into a national power. FGCU is at full strength now that Mark-Eddie Norelia is back, but he came off the bench again tonight. Zach Johnson, just a sophomore. His future's so bright, though, especially if he can knock down that outside jump shot with regularity. Sloppy first half for FGCU. Freshman Rayshawn Scott makes a mistake by fouling the three-point shooter. Long Beach State was up 3 at the half. A teeter-totter game, back and forth. It goes into overtime. Long Beach misses a free throw up 1, so here comes the Eagles. Johnson gets it to Christian Terrell, who attacks baseline, and he'll score the game winner. FGCU pulls this one out tonight. 68-67 was the final. The FGCU women lose at the Gulf Coast Showcase. Wow. Wink News will be right back. An old rivalry that's seen some great games and some great players. North Fort Myers hosting Fort Myers. This one delayed about an hour and a half by lightning. Fanaje Gote recovered a fumble on defense and has so far scored 3 touchdowns on offense. North jumped out to a 20-7 lead. Joe Wilkins Jr., another big-time threat for the Red Knights, who are legitimate. An added dimension when your punt returner can do this. Right now, North Fort Myers has a 34-17 lead in the fourth quarter. 34-17. This would be a big one for North. Let's go out to Andrew Kazee, who has our game of the week. Port Charlotte at South Fort Myers.
By now you've heard the story. I'm Andrew Kazee, Wink Sports.
Thank you, Andrew. Another solid out-of-area opponent for Naples tonight. Palmetto coming over from Miami. Naples down 9-3, but they were in Palmetto territory late in the first half. A huge interception there, though. 8 seconds left. The next play, Palmetto just goes for it, throws one into the end zone, and it's caught. A 38-yard touchdown on the final play of the half. That's momentum going into the locker room. And Palmetto goes into Naples and wins. 37-16 was the final. First Baptist, a 2A team, testing itself against Barron Collier, a Class 6A team. Third quarter, we've got a game tied at 7 until Dana Brown makes some moves and finds his way in, but an immediate answer from First Baptist. Cole Burleson gets some air under it for Nick Tompkins. Foot race from there, and Tompkins is in for an 89-yard touchdown. First Baptist game for this one, but immediately back comes Barron Collier. Brown gets into the end zone again. 3 touchdowns in a minute and a half in this game. And Barron Collier, the bigger school, pulls away to win this one 42-19. Riverdale playing its first home game since the death of Zachary Polsenberg. That was one of our many games tonight that saw major delays and are still going on. Here are 3 games that were finals. Immokalee, Gulf Coast, and Marco Island all win big. Thank you for watching Friday Night Highlights. Wink News. We'll be right back. Dunbar and Lehigh are rival schools who know each other well. The players know each other, the parents know each other, but no time for friendship on game night. Tigers and Lightning on a Thursday. Lehigh's game got canceled last week, so this is their opener, and the Lightning up for the challenge. Delshawn Green to big tight end Jeff Augustine. Lehigh goes up 9-0 in the early going. But this is the play of the game here in the second quarter. Lehigh was marching, but Devin Tompkins picks it off. Tompkins turned in our play of the week on offense last week. 87-yard return on defense this week. Then here's Shockey Jackalui, who used to play at Lehigh before transferring, a touchdown. But the Tennessee commit gets flagged for pointing at our camera on his way to the end zone. Seneca Millage had a couple of touchdowns in the second half, 29 yards on a run, also had a kick return. Despite this impressive Chris Curry TD, Dunbar wins 40-23 was the final. Canterbury in its 3rd season as an 11-man football program. The Cougars are talented. Here a bootleg for Danny Cunningham, throws into the end zone for Nick Perez, an impressive 43-0 win for the Cougars. Darryl Belfry is considered by many as the best hockey trainer in the world, and he lives in Naples. Belfry brought down some of the NHL's top stars to train together the past few weeks here at Germain Arena. They've all been going out golfing together after these workouts. Today was the final day. Former MVP Patrick Kane has been working out with Belfry since he was 8 years old. He made his first ever trip to Southwest Florida to learn from Belfry.
Many of them are clients of mine, and so we study every game that they play over the course of the year, so I know their habits inside and out. So it gives me a good opportunity here to really tailor the development towards them and what they need to prepare for the upcoming season.
He's such a smart guy. He looks at the game completely different than really anybody else, so he's a fun guy to work with.
NHL training camps start in just 2 weeks. Gary Sanchez hit his 28th home run as the Yankees beat the Red Sox 6-2. New York needed that one. The Twins won today as well. The Marlins got beat. 16-year-old LaMelo Ball, the youngest son of LeVar, now has his own shoe through his dad's Big Baller brand. It'll only cost you $395. When asked by ESPN about the fact that this may make him ineligible to play in college someday, LeVar said, "Who cares? If he can't play, then he can't play." Malik Zaire transferred to Florida after playing 3 seasons at Notre Dame. Clearly, he did that thinking he'd be the Gators' starting quarterback. Luke Del Rio was Florida's starting QB to start last season, so he probably felt his experience gave him a good shot as well. Nope. Florida will start redshirt freshman Felipe Franks on Saturday against Michigan. Franks just 19, whereas Del Rio and Zaire are 22, but Franks was the only one of the 3 to play in the spring game, and he played well in that game. Franks has great size. He was a big-time prospect coming out of high school in the Tallahassee area. Franks' first start will be at Cowboys Stadium against the Wolverines, and he'll have to play without his best wide receiver. And today we find out his best running back as well. Jordan Scarlett was suspended, and now 10 Gators have been suspended for at least the Michigan game. 9 of the suspensions are reportedly for misusing school-issued debit cards. McElwain essentially said today some other schools probably would have tried to cover this up.
Some places, who knows? You might try to figure it out, and yet at the end of the day, the positive is we're going to handle what it is and not run and hide.
Very rare what South Fort Myers and Cape Coral will be going through this week. Just 2 days off between games. The Wolfpack were back in pads and helmets 1 day after losing to the Seahawks. South welcomes in another physical opponent on Friday, Port Charlotte. It'll be 2 games in 4 days.
They're very sore. It was a physical game last night, and try to keep the, it's 100 degrees out here today, but we're trying to keep the pants off of them, get their legs back a little bit what we can.
I think everybody's got to keep going. like, you just don't think about it, you just keep going.
You just got to fight. You got to, this where this you're going to show you what you're made of right here. So we just got to fight and show them how tough we are.
Star receiver Jayshon Jones was held out of last night's game because of a sore shoulder. He hasn't been cleared for Friday yet, but he expects to know more tomorrow. Rick Porcello brought his reflexes with him tonight. He was good on the hill as Boston wins in Toronto 7-1. The second-place Yankees lost both games of a doubleheader. The Rays won, and the Twins are winning big right now. The NFL canceled tomorrow night's Houston versus Dallas preseason game that was going to be played at Cowboys Stadium, so the Texans could return home to be with their families who have been dealing with historic flooding in the Houston area. And according to multiple reports, the Celtics will throw in an additional second-round pick, and the trade will happen. Kyrie Irving to the Celtics, Isaiah Thomas and others to the Cavs. Wink News. We'll be right back. The third preseason game is traditionally when the starters play the most, so this is the one you get the most out of. All eyes continue to be on Jay Cutler, and the hired hand was pretty good against the Eagles. A great ball to 6'3" Devontae Parker. Ends up being a 72-yard gain. Parker in his third year now, really primed for a breakout. Might be a big season for him. Defense making it happen here. Tipped up. Third-year man Jordan Phillips comes down with the interception, and he gets elusive down to the 1-yard line. Jay Ajayi ran well. He scored 2 touchdowns. Cutler was 5 for 8 for 105 yards. Cape Coral High grad Nate Allen had 2 tackles. He's expected to start at safety for the Fins. Look at this effort by Jakeem Grant. You got to put him on the team. But Philly scores in the fourth to win this game 38-31. This Saturday night, the main event will be Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Next Saturday night, the spotlight will be on Florida State and Alabama, the third-ranked team in the country against the first 2 powerhouse programs who have recently won national championships. Jimbo Fisher praised the practice his team had today, and he's fairly confident their heads are in the right place heading into this heavyweight matchup.
You know, it's all mindset and the temperament that you have to have, and they seem to have it. We'll see.
Alabama is favored by 7 in the game that will be played in the new Atlanta Falcons Stadium. Chris Sale with a rare bad outing in a first-place battle against the Indians. Cleveland pieced together rallies in the second and third innings. Sale was taken out after allowing 6 runs in just 3 innings. The lefty from FGCU has dominated everybody this year except for the Indians, who own him. Sox lose 13-6. Things spiraled out of control with the Yanks and Tigers. Gary Sanchez got hit by a pitch that the Yankees threw at Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera then got into a fight with catcher Austin Romine. During that melee, Gary Sanchez threw some sucker punches that will likely get the Yankee slugger suspended. Everything was okay, but then who invited Dellin Betances? Throws at the head. James McCann seemed to be fine. Bench is clear again. And then, of course, the Tigers had to throw at the Yankees again. Tigers win this game 10-6. The Rays won today. The Twins lost. Tim Tebow finishing up his tour of Port Charlotte. 2 for 4 in game 1, but the Stone Crabs won that game big. Tebow is not playing in the second game of the doubleheader that the Stone Crabs are currently winning 4-0. The first place Miracle get beat tonight. Wink News. We'll be right back. Also breaking, Confederate compromise. This portrait of Robert E. Lee isn't going anywhere, but his uniform likely is. 2 of the shootings happened right here in Florida. Let's get the breaking details now from Wink News reporter Chris Grisby. Chris, it's also breaking. A drunk driver mows down a man walking along I-75 and then takes off. It happened early this morning near the Fruitville Road exit in Sarasota. 33-year-old Christopher Scott died, but troopers tracked down the driver, 23-year-old Seth Braley, a short time later. He's held tonight on a $20,000 bond. Just in back home, an apartment fire sends 1 person to the hospital. Crews responded to the building on Winifred Row Lane, just south of Golden Gate, late this afternoon. Fire officials say they contained it to 1 unit, and first responders treated 1 person for smoke inhalation. Investigators say the fire started in the kitchen. Also just in, 22-year-old Berline Bernard died in this wreck near the CenturyLink Sports Complex. Troopers just identified the Lehigh woman. They say she crossed the center line and slammed into another vehicle. The crash didn't injure the other driver. Right now, investigators are trying to track down this woman accused of stealing 5 guns. Take a close look at these new pictures of Tiffany Schrum. Detectives say it happened along Jose Gaspar Drive in North Fort Myers last weekend. Schrum, also known as Tiffany Shannon, is likely still in the North Fort Myers area. Call Crime Stoppers if you recognize her. New tonight, a cleaning woman steals tens of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry from a homeowner. Deputies say Maria Villaflor admitted to taking the valuable pieces over the past year and pawning them. The victim says she's only got about a quarter of the $20,000+ worth of jewelry back.
Community in Lee County. Wink News reporter Bill Halter in the studio. And Bill, it sounds like homes are being threatened as we speak.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, a lot of rain was dumped on already saturated ground, but the main reason residents in the Cypress K and Bristol Park subdivisions are on an island right now is because of water pouring in from a 600-acre plot of agriculture land. Fire rescue became aware of this problem tonight and toured the flooded area. A truck is the only way you really can safely drive through these waters. The water is high as waist deep in the areas that are worst affected. It's not receding because 4 breaches from the land to the east pouring it in faster than the water is draining into that pond right there.
We need dirt, we need rock, we need sand, something that we can come in here and dump on this, I don't know if it's a dike or a berm or a levee, whatever it is, to stop the water flow from coming in here. And if we don't get it stopped, it's probably just going to end up flooding about 300 houses.
A spokesman for Fire Rescue says a number of city agencies are now aware of the issue and are taking an aggressive approach to stopping the flow of water. Residents hope they follow through with an action in the morning. Many residents feeling trapped in their homes because the water is too high to drive their cars in. And as you saw in the video, water right up to some of the homes. Amanda.